Minnesota to get an offensive presence in the low post area to challenge Shaq.
And someone stepped in too quickly. Jim Clark indicating that it will be Los Angeles ball.
Remember last game, Shaq stole the opening tip. This time they call it on Minnesota.
And it appeared that Kevin Garnett attempted to steal it, but Jim Clark was right on the scene. So the Lakers with the opening possession. They get it right to O'Neal. Over Olowokandi, rebounded by Garnett.
A little bit further out than he's normally used to shooting that shot. Perhaps 2 to 3 feet longer, trying to bank it off the glass.
Eric Martin, played by Gary Payton. Payton got picked off. Now Garnett, double team. Olowokandi, shot clock down at 2.
It's going to be important for him to get off to a good start because this crowd got down on him against Sacramento. He did not play well. He needs to get off to a good start as we see Payton on that baseline. And once again, he does most of his damage in the first period for the Lakers.
And Gary Payton coming off another quiet game, just 2 for 6. Did have 6 assists, but Derek Fisher came up so big that Payton did not see much action in the second half. And that's a kick ball that plays 14 on the shot clock.
One of the things about Minnesota, I expect Derek Martin to play much better. Bench players normally play better when they are at home than they do on the road. The road players help you more here at home, and I expect Martin to be better.
Once again, Garnett was facing a double team. Kobe Bryant, who has done most of his damage in the second half, particularly in the third quarter. Here is Devin George. Yes. So Devin George out of Augsburg, a Division III school here in Minneapolis. In the previous games here, back home, has not been able to get going.
Perhaps Phil Jackson drew up a little set play for him just to help get him off early in the game.
Eric Martin just fires, rebounded by Karl Malone. Lakers with a 4-0 lead. Now George looking to post up Sprewell. George again. And Flip Saunders wants to talk early. And once again tonight, telecast being seen in HD. You can catch all the drama of the NBA in high definition, TNT and HD, high definition, high drama. Here's Sprewell, and the Timberwolves have their first bucket.
There it is, exactly what you talked about. The coach calls a timeout, he sets up a play, and he goes to a dribble handoff followed by another screen from the center right after that to get Sprewell the open look, and it works.
Sprewell only 4 of 18 the other night after having 3 excellent games. Foul is called on Olowokandi. Michael Olowokandi back in game 1 of this series, played 33 minutes, 10 points, 11 rebounds in what was a pleasant surprise for the Timberwolves. Games 2 through 4 silent, 0 for 5 from the field combined in those games.
Well, they've got to put some kind of pressure on Shaq to have to use some energy on the defensive end. He's just laying back there getting every rebound, has a lot of energy to go to the offensive boards.
O'Neal working his way inside. O'Neal on the follow.
It's one of those examples of Olowokandi went for the block when he jumped and Shaq missed. Shaq was able to slide inside of him and come up with the offensive rebound.
Eric Martin swatted away by Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, Mike, you talked about it in the open. That's 14 blocked shots now for Shaq in this series, only 2 in the regular season. Again, you can see his presence in the lane.
Garnett is fouled. Will he get the call? Yes, he does. They gave him the continuation, so Garnett will head to the line looking for a 3-point play.
Critical for Kevin Garnett to get to the free throw line. More importantly, to get Karl Malone in foul trouble. In game 2, he picked up 2 early fouls, really never got in the game. Minnesota was able to win that game. Malone so important to the team. Expect for Garnett to continue to go to the front of that rim to try to get to the free throw line.
Garnett 3 of 4 at the line. In game 4, Lakers with an 8-5 lead.
So we see no pressure. Instead, what we see is Minnesota going right back into a zone defense.
They need some success with their zone so their players will believe in it. The Lakers have scored easily against it. The players have lost confidence. If they tell their coach they want to play man-to-man.
Here is Bryant.
They actually may have gone a little box and one that time because Hassel played Kobe Bryant by himself while the other 4 players tried to zone off the court.
Sprewell was cut off by George, had nowhere to go. Here is Garnett. Recaptured by Hassel. Shot clock to 5. Sprewell. Garnett poking it out of back tap is called for an over-the-back foul as he made contact with Malone.
At the end of the third quarter the other night, the Lakers were so dominant on the boards. Shaquille O'Neal and Karl Malone had 29 rebounds. Minnesota only had 24. At one point in time, they had 21 more rebounds. That margin was narrowed to 11 at the end of the game, but that rebounding, a vital factor for the Lakers.
And that department, of course, led by Shaquille O'Neal, who has had 5 strong games, and he has averaged better than 17 rebounds per game. Nice move by Gary Payton. That's his second field goal.
You would think that Trenton Hassel would know by now that that's exactly what Payton wants to do. Get you up, step underneath you for that little scoop.
And Derek Martin tripped up. Foul on Payton.
This is his trend in the series. Look what he's done in the first quarter of the 4 games. 29 points is shooting, and in the second half, 4 of 17, only 0 of 5 from 3. So he really comes out to quick starts.
Well, obviously, this is designed by Phil Jackson, the attempt to get Payton into the game, make him feel he's a significant part of it, and then just see how far he carries over into it, because frequently he finds himself on the bench in the fourth quarters.
Devin George called for the foul on that Sprewell drive.
You look at Sprewell's numbers in this series, one of the things that jumped up, he's attempted 27 three-point shots, only 14 free throws. He's a slasher. He's got to get to the line. He's the one guy on their team that really likes to drive. He's got to take advantage of that.
Lakers have a 10-6 lead. Hoping to conclude matters here tonight. If there is a game 6, it'll be back in LA on Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, right here on TNT. Here is George for 3. Bryant able to keep it alive. Here's Kobe spinning his way. O'Neal. Malone is open.
You don't want to keep giving the Lakers second and third chance opportunities on the glass.
Martin drew the double. Garnett. And last touch by the Lakers. So the Timberwolves get the new shot clock. Sprewell. Olowokandi. And he gives it away. Payton right there, fouled by Martin.
And you hear the ooze from the crowd. I mean, they're already with Michael Olowokandi. Flip was giving him a chance, or he made a nice offensive rebound. You got to take your time there. No hurry. You got a new clock. If anything, just pick the ball up and wait for somebody to come get it. He actually started a fast break here. Looks like an outlet pass to Gary Payton going the other way for the layup.
And the reason that they are not shooting this is because the officials felt that the foul took place when they were side by side, that Payton was not out in front with a clear path to the basket, so that's why they took it on the side.
Here's Bryant from deep in the corner. And the Lakers have a 13-6 lead. That's a three-pointer for Kobe Bryant. This is not the start Flip Saunders envisioned. Garnett. Nice move by Kevin Garnett. He beat Malone and Payton along the baseline.
He needs to face up and use his quickness. Malone will, every time he turns his back, Malone closes down on top of him and takes his space away on the floor.
Flip Saunders telling us earlier that he will stay longer with Trenton Hassel, defending on Kobe Bryant. That's a defensive 3-second violation. I know the thinking earlier was, well, you have another guy out there who the Lakers don't respect in terms of offense at Hassel, but look what he's done. He's shot the ball well.
Well, the other thing they found out is that when he's on the floor playing Bryant's numbers are down significantly. So with him shooting 75%, now he's only taken 12 field goal attempts coming into tonight's game, but shooting 75%, they figured, hey, let's just go with him longer, let him play Kobe.
That's why it's also important for him to have the lead in the third quarter so it doesn't force his Flip's hand to go to an offensive team and he can leave a defender on the floor.
Stepping back off the pick and has to give it up. George feeling it. And the ball back to Minnesota. He's missed twice, but both have been right on target after he hit his first two shots.
He's got to stay aggressive. That's why he's on the floor, and Phil will be upset with him if he passes up the open shot. That's how they get to the offensive boards.
Lakers up by 6 as we hit the halfway mark of this first quarter. Sprewell. Apparently, I don't know if he's trying to pass or he just misfired.
Doug, early on, you could see Kevin Garnett, obviously through the direction of the coaching staff, really making an effort to put it on the floor and put fouls on.
Says that in order for this team to be successful tonight, he didn't care if Kevin Garnett got double teamed, that he has to be selfish at the offensive end. I asked Kevin Garnett, was he frustrated at his lack of trips to the free throw line? He said, look, Cheryl, I can't worry about this. I just have to continue to be aggressive, put the officials in the position to blow the whistles. Mark?
And Shaquille O'Neal continues to be aggressive, taking it right at Michael Olowokandi, and the Lakers now lead 16-8.
And then switched over at the last second, used that left hand to finish it off.
5.5 remaining in this opening quarter. They double up on Garnett. Open shot for Hassel. So the T-Wolves are now 3 of 12 from the field.
They force no turnovers, have no fast break points. And that's all those hustle stats we talked about, energy plays that they have to win.
Now Payton with the open shot. Saunders about to send on Fred Hoiberg. He needs offense, and Wally Szczerbiak off the bench. He'll check in just a moment. There's Martin to the reverse. Nice move, was able to race by Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaq not able to reach out.
It will be very interesting to see if Flip Saunders goes to a small lineup. He talked to us today about moving Garnett to a 5, Szczerbiak as a 4 to change the matchup. We'll see if he does it early in the game. This substitution might say a lot.
Wally Szczerbiak had another good effort off the bench the other night.
Well, these are the hustle stats I talked about. Obviously, there's a lot of different hustle stats, but fast break points, second chance points, forcing turnovers, points off turnovers, getting in an up-tempo game. Right now, Minnesota has not been able to disrupt the Laker offense.
Kobe Bryant with a difficult angle shot. So Kobe with 6 points. He's 2 of 4 from the field. 1 was from downtown, and the Lakers lead 18-10.
Garnett now being the point guard with Derek Norton out of the game, so he's going to bring it up and now go right into the low post.
Lakers have remained the same from the start as the T-Wolves continue to shuffle. And Szczerbiak guarding Bryant. Bryant had to give it up. Here's George for 3. Rebounded by Garnett. Olowokandi way off, try to bank it high off glass.
Kevin Garnett should have taken that shot. He was in the lane. That's where he was too unselfish. He's got to take that shot, pass it over to Olowokandi, who's not nearly as good a player, obviously, in the lane. But Garnett has to take every kind of those shots, Mike, tonight that he can get.
He's going to get a lot of opportunities tonight. His teammates are not concerned whether he's shooting the ball too much. They know they need him to have a huge night if they're going to have a chance. So as unselfish and playing the game the right way is all part of Kevin Garnett. He's got to take a little bit more on himself tonight.
Here's George, rejected by Olowokandi. Sprewell is on it. They trap him. And The ball was knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Lakers. Here's Derek Fisher checking in. And he'll replace Devin George. George sits down 2 of 6, 4 points.
And they're going to Mark Madsen, not Irvin Johnson. Mark Madsen actually has done as good a job as any of the big men have done. Plus, he gives them more energy, and he's a better screener out moving around in the ball. Watch him. He will look to go screen to free guys for shots.
Madsen coming on for Olowokandi. There's Serbiak. The defense here by the Lakers, and Serbiak's pass off the mark. Doug, did you have any intriguing rituals as a player?
Well,
Not as a broadcaster.
Well, but we see Peyton and I, but that players are all superstitious. Marvin Malone hits a jumper, but I always ate my pregame meal 7 hours before the game. Always went through number 20 lane on the bridge. That was my number, Walt Whitman Bridge. And then I always made the last shot in warm-ups. I always wanted to feel like I was hot going into the game.
I always tried to do that. I could never make the shot, Doug.
All right, here's Garnett. And Fisher moves it up court. Fisher and Payton now in the backcourt with Malone, O'Neal, and Bryant up front. Hoiberg knocked it away. Sprewell from Madsen.
This is the crowd. They should keep their defense extended. This is the kind of game they've got to create. They've got an energy lineup on the team. Take advantage of it.
Well, the assistant coaches were up right away from Minnesota. Sidney Lowe leading the cheer, saying, get up, extend the defense. That's what they want to do. Be aggressive, keep the crowd in it.
Here is Fisher, who has been red hot against the T-Wolves. Sprewell to the left hand. So Sprewell able to keep it away from O'Neal. It's a 6-point Laker lead.
Well, we certainly haven't seen very many of those. Actual penetration and attempted layups against the Laker interior defense. That was an easy one for Sprewell.
Foul is called on Madsen. Mark Madsen, one-time member of the Los Angeles Lakers, spent 3 years with the Lakers, a member of 2 of their championship teams. See Latrell, who had 3 standout games and then only 4 of 18 the other night, 0 for 5 from downtown. You know, watching Sprewell in Game 4, he was sky high, but just did not shoot the ball well.
1 of 10 the last 3 quarters. He had gotten off to a good start, but he couldn't finish, and they needed him to go along with Garnett and Serbiak. I feel like these guys have to get 60 points. The big 3 have to put 60 on the board tonight if Minnesota's going to be able to win.
Well, it's not like Sprewell had a great year shooting the ball for Minnesota. Regular season, he was 41%. In the playoffs, he's at 38% coming into tonight's game.
Minnesota in possession, down by 7. Garnett.
He actually had to move initially, Doug. He could have turned the corner and really put the pressure on Karl Malone and perhaps another foul.
Final minute of this first quarter. Here is Fisher with a wide-open opportunity. Serbiak for 3. Well, the T-Wolves are now 6 for 20 from the field.
Chance right now for the Lakers to get 2 shots up here. Kobe knows that. That's why he launches that 3. They can get 2 for 1 to end this quarter.
Seems like Minnesota has had so many opportunities through this whole series. They've not been able to hit timely shots to put enough pressure on the Lakers to make them think about that they can beat them.
7-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Here is Hoiberg for 3. And Madsen able to get to it. Final seconds of the quarter. Serbiak shot blocked. Fisher not able to get off the shot. There's Hall of Famer Kevin McHale, the T-Wolves Vice President of Basketball Operations. He's been telling his team, you know, it's difficult, but it is not impossible to come back from a 3-1 deficit. And he points to his 1981 Boston Celtics, who rallied from 3-1 to beat Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference Finals, then went on to beat Houston in the finals. As you see, only 7 teams have come back After trailing 3 games to 1 in the best of 7, the last team to do it, Detroit over Orlando in the first round last season. Now, were you on that? Nice move by Sprewell. Latrell going straight down the lane, and the Laker lead is down to 5. Were you on the 76er team?
Yes, and interestingly enough, in 81, down 3-1, they came back to win in a game 7. Had happened the next year the same way, Game 7 in Boston, and Andrew Toney had an unbelievable game, or it could have happened 2 years in a row. So that was a big game by Andrew Toney to give the Sixers a win.
Shot clock is down to 2. Down to 1. Bryant has to fire. He did make contact with the rim. Good job by Hassel on Bryant. Hassel for Serbiak. Has to give it out. Hoiberg. Minnesota has not been able to hit from the perimeter. And a technical foul has just been called.
And that's on, I think, on Kobe. He's been complaining since Hassel's really been up into him, really been bothering him with a lot of physical play. Kobe had to force that three-point shot up. He thought he was hit. He had something to say.
That's the 3rd straight game that Kobe Bryant has been hit with a technical foul. And here's Serbiak to shoot the tee. Slava Medvedenko and Rick Fox have come on for the Lakers.
And this was what caused it. You see Hassel being very physical with him. Kobe knows that the shot clock is running down now. Wants the official to make a call. Has something to say there. Almost loses the ball again. Launches it at the last second to avoid the 24-second violation. Then in transition had something again to say to Bennett Salvatore.
Kobe still discussing the issue. It does not appear that Bennett Salvatore is pleased.
Well, Kobe does not want to give this crowd anything to get riled up about. Right now, they're pretty quiet.
Kareem Rush just checked in for Slava Medvedenko, so just a cameo for Slava. Nice move by Bryant to draw the foul on Hassel.
Did you see his move when he caught it? It's that Michael Jordan move. He sort of raises his back to create space. Now watch him. This is like Michael personified. When he catches the ball, watch this little move he makes here as he backs down, the little move to give himself some space. He knew Hassel was going to go for the pump fake. That's about 6 times in this series we've seen Hassel foul him shooting a jump shot.
One thing that the Lakers want to be guarded against is Kobe turning this into a personal duel right now with Hassel. Would be exactly what Minnesota wants.
Normally when Shaq sits, that's when Phil gives Kobe sort of free reign to take over. This is your time to score.
You know, in the first quarter, Minnesota had a terrible time shooting the basketball, but over the last 8 minutes plus, the Lakers only shot 4 for 14. They had a real good opportunity to open this thing up to 12 or 15 points. Never could get it done in that first quarter because they went through that drought.
Garnett.
Yes.
See, with Shaq out, they've gone to a small lineup. Really, they have 4 guards out there with Kevin Garnett. So this is probably their best offensive team with Hassel guarding Kobe defensively.
The T-Wolves are within 4. We're early in the second. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Kazar, Mike Fratello, Sprewell with the steal. Sprewell goes right at Fisher. Rebounded by Hoiberg, and he's fouled by Rush. And for the first time tonight, this crowd is fired up.
They're going to be upset here, though. They're not going to give him a 2-shot foul. Sprewell, if he would have slowed down just a little bit, he's got 2 guys coming in from behind him. They would have gotten a layup. As it was, he put the pressure on Fisher, forced the shot. Hoiberg got the offensive rebound. They said he was not in the act of shooting.
Garnett sets the pick for Sprewell, who's bet on a switch. Here's Hassel. Nice move by Trenton Hassel.
No shot blocking.
Nobody home to protect the rim for the Lakers right now. They're taking it right at him.
They know Shaq is not in the game. If you're ever going to do it, go to the basket now.
Lakers up by 2. Bryant cut off at the baseline by Hassel. Here is Kareem Rush. Lakers have led by as many as 10. It's a 2-point game. Sprewell, Fox try to draw the foul. Sprewell has tied it. The T-Wolves and the Lakers tie to 23, and Phil Jackson takes a timeout.
Look who's back, Marv. Shaq.
Yeah. All right, here's Fisher. Derek Fisher with his first field goal, and it's from downtown. Phil Jackson, who played in New York for Red Holzman, feels he's doing this in part. Red Holzman, who had an intensive and difficult rivalry with Red Auerbach during those many years of Boston Celtic glory. Sprewell. That's 2 in a row for Latrell Sprewell. He has Shaquille O'Neal defending on him.
Well, when we talked to Flip this morning, he said, we've been taking too many 20-foot jump shots. If we get to the 15-foot mark, Shaq has to make a decision whether or not he's going to come out. We're bailing him out by not getting to that 15-foot mark, and you see exactly what happened. They forced Shaq out on the floor. Now Sprewell with a little pump fake, and instead of shooting a 20-footer, he got in the lane. Minnesota's taken 8 threes already. That is not their game. They're a team that averages about 11 during the regular season, Mike. That's out of character.
Yeah, and you saw Shaq go right over to Devin George at the end and talk to him at the other end about how they're going to play that pick and roll.
Foul on Trenton Hassel, who takes a seat and heard the applause from the crowd. Rick Fox with the tip. And the Lakers now lead at 28-25. 4 minutes gone by. And the second quarter now. Sprewell at the point. Devin George called for the foul, did not like that call. He felt that he was pushed.
And who was setting the screen? Matson, the guy that Doug mentioned before, is the designated screener. In fact, Flip Saunders told us, sometimes I tell Matson, just go out there and screen everybody on the floor. Just run around and screen people to get us open shots.
How about the matchup? They've kept Shaq on Garnett, and they have Fox playing Matson.
Matson gets inside. And a nice setup from Sprewell. And things have turned here for the T-Wolves. They're down now by 1.
If you're Garnett now, if Shaq's going to play you, you pull him away from the basket, open up the middle. That's how Madsen got the layup.
Fisher and Rush now in the backcourt. Kobe Bryant sitting down. Fox lost it. Serbiak for Hoiberg. The Timberwolves take a 1-point lead. It's the first time they've led. Deflected away by Garnett. Minnesota very aggressive defensively.
In game 2, when Minnesota came out early in the game with the kind of energy they have right now, it completely took the Lakers out of what they wanted to run. It wound up being an offense that looked like it didn't know where it wanted to go, and they're starting to get the same signs right now.
Kobe Bryant checks back in. Minnesota in the second quarter with 9 possessions. They've resulted in 8 scores. O'Neal rebounded by Garnett. Garnett off the double is hacked. George got him from in front. Rush from behind. Foul is on Kareem Rush. Minnesota with a 1-point lead. 5 minutes gone by here in the second. And how things have turned around in the second quarter.
Well, I think Flip likes their energy now. They're starting to get out and make some things happen. Garnett is aggressive. They're getting their hands on some offensive rebounds, starting to run a little bit, Mike.
They've created a tempo for a change, something that they have not been able to do in the last couple games, and that was Flip's main objective. Get the tempo to where we have a chance to win, not the slow, methodical game that the Lakers want to play.
O'Neal gives it right back. Fisher with the bucket and a foul. Beautiful pass play. Shaq from the low post on the give and go. Hoiberg called for the foul.
When you extend your pressure and open up the floor this way, this is what can happen to you. You hit the post, back cut, and then Shaq very good at dropping the ball off on the floor to his open teammate, the conversion, and now the attempt for 3 by Fisher.
The Lakers' rule of thumb is when they see pressure, don't dribble against it. Extend it and pass and cut and move behind it. And Shaq is a very, very good passing big man, and he loves to pass.
Derek Fisher, 7 of 13, 15 points in 28 minutes in game number 4. Really tipped in by Serbiak. Minnesota down by 1. Matson setting the screen for Sprewell. Dumps it off to Garnett. O'Neal was outside, was not in sight. So Garnett had the advantage down low.
The designated screener, Madsen, creating opportunities.
Another Laker turnover. Garnett played by Bryant. Sprewell for three.
Too many threes, Marv. He's a mid-range game player. He needs to attack the basket. They've got a rhythm now. And that's 9 threes that they've tempted already. We still have 6 minutes to go in the second period.
Bryant. Madsen. Back tap, but O'Neal is there. New shot clock for the Lakers. Here is Bryant for three. Kobe Bryant from downtown.
Those offensive rebounds, when you give a Laker team as potent as they are multiple opportunities, that's where they wear you down. They discourage you. You stop them and you can't get the rebound.
Phil Jackson has been trying to get Karl Malone, who we many times have said is the glue really to this Laker team. He's trying to get him back in the game. We see the steal by Fisher as he heads for the layup.
Nice reverse by Derek Fisher, and the Lakers open up a 4-point advantage. Hoiberg under pressure, and Minnesota takes a timeout with 5:06 remaining. Lakers up by 4 points. Garnett going at Malone. Garnett. And the rebound is handled by Bryant. Fisher and Payton in the backcourt with O'Neal, Malone, and Bryant up front. And Madsen hit the floor. The foul is called. It is on Madsen. That's his second. He and O'Neal involved.
Such a tough call to make because as Shaq is trying to move across the lane, Madsen's trying to get a body into him and stop him from getting across. They reverse the ball. Here comes Shaq. Now, how do you stop him from getting over there? Is it an offensive foul or is it a block?
That's a tough call right there, Mike. It looked like Madsen was right in position and Shaq just ran over him.
Shaq says he's the NFL's best NBA player. Bryant again from downtown. Shaquille referring to his physical presence. T-Wolves have been bouncing off his body as we saw right there. Eric Martin is back in. Here's Garnett. The tip by Madsen.
So Madsen will remind Shaq later on how he tipped one in over the top of him.
Lakers 38, Timberwolves 33. Game 5 of the Western Conference Final Series. Lakers with a 3-1 lead, hoping to end it here tonight. T-Wolves look to go back to Los Angeles. They want to play a Game 6 at Staples on Monday night. Eric Martin weaving his way, rejected from behind by O'Neal. Here's Fisher. Derek Fisher pounding that ball and then put the brakes on to score.
That's already 9 points now for Derek Fisher off the bench. Wally Szczerbiak only has 1. If they're going to win that matchup, Fisher 9-1, Minnesota's going to be in serious trouble.
Here is Szczerbiak.
Szczerbiak has usually come in and really been instant offense for Minnesota in this particular series. This is probably the slowest start that we've seen him get off to, but there he gets himself going with that little mid-range jump shot.
Lakers with a 5-point lead. Nice fake by Bryant to draw the foul. It's on Szczerbiak.
And that's the concern. Hassel does such a good job on Bryant when you play Szczerbiak for his offense. Can he help you defensively?
2:59 remaining in the first half.
One of those special players that can do spectacular things that people will remember for many, many years. The Julius Erving shot and the Michael Jordan shot. I mean, everybody knows those shots. We've seen them so many times.
That's his first miss at the line. Kobe, in contrast to what has taken place earlier this series, doing it in the first half.
Well, in the last 2 games, his combined points in the first half were 9 combined. In the second half, he then went for 44 combined points. We see Kobe now with 14 already in the first half here.
Here is Sprewell. And up in the hands of Olowokandi, who just checked back in. Szczerbiak for 3. 2.5 remaining in this first half. Bryant Garnett sets it up. Garnett, yes. Now that's what a point guard likes to do. You grab the rebound, you dribble at the length of the floor, and then hit the shot. And Flip Saunders making some lineup changes. Michael Olowokandi in the starting lineup, replacing Urban Johnson, who's yet to play tonight. Derek Martin making his second straight start for the injured Sam Cassell. Sam not dressed for the game tonight with that sore hip and sore back. Here is Hassel. Yes, make it 15 unanswered for the T-Wolves.
Nice to see if LA comes down and force feeds the ball into Shaquille O'Neal right now to start getting some free throw attempts. And there's another steal by Minnesota.
And pass broken up by Springwell. Devin George is back after suffering that knee problem earlier. Martin is fouled by Bryant.
One of the things we talked about in our open, Mark, we talked about the hustle stats, the energy plays that had to go to Minnesota, and you can see in 3 of the 4 categories they are up. They are even in second chance points, a positive sign. That's why they are leading by 8.
And during this 15-0 run, Minnesota 7 of 10 from the field. Garnett, yes, make it 8 of 11. 17 consecutive points.
You've seen Garnett now, the last couple baskets over Malone, no multiple fakes, one way, turn, get legs under, and shoot over the top.
It is a 10-point Minnesota lead. Bryant lost it.
You know, I'm looking at a quote from Flip this morning. He said, you know what? We have not put any mental pressure on them since game 2. We must make them play from behind, play out of character. That's exactly what's happening right now.
I thought he did a great job of approaching it from the standpoint. He told them how many minutes they had played even with the Lakers and showed them, as Sprewell misses the jump, and showed them that basically the last couple games just came down to a couple of runs, a 1.5, 2.5 minute segment of the game.
Lakers now scoreless the last 5 minutes. Well, that ends the drought after 17 unanswered by the Wolves. Minnesota 50 and Los Angeles 42. 2 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Crowd wanted a foul on Malone. Martin wide open for 3. Rebounded by O'Neal, and he was fouled by Olowokandi. A late whistle, but Olowokandi called for the contact.
Well, the crowd's still upset because of Malone and Garnett going at each other on the low right block. Their arms got tangled up, and there was no call here. You'll see KG fighting for position. Malone trying. There's the arm being hooked. That's why the other foul wasn't called, because Garnett had hooked him first offensively.
Trell Sprewell just went over to Derek Martin with words of encouragement. Martin now 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 6 the other night.
He hesitated on that shot. He waited, and when he thought about it, too much. Got to just go up and shoot it.
Nice pass. O'Neal to Malone. So the Lakers are within 6. Derek Martin, who grew up in Los Angeles, played his college ball at UCLA, was signed after Troy Hudson went down back in late January. Fred Hoiberg getting set to check back in. Garnett with the step. They swing it. Here's Martin. Rebounded by Garnett. And he is fouled. Garnett will go to the line.
Let's see who Hoiberg is coming into the game for. Martin is coming out quickly. So you can see Flip is not taking any chances. Hassel's coming over to him, encouraging him. They're probably going to need him in the second half, but right now, lost a lot of confidence since that big boost in game 2.
Yeah, Martin came out hanging his head a little bit. Flip Saunders called him and made him come over, talking to him, trying to explain maybe the right spot where we want to get you the ball, that type of thing, because he's going to need him again before this game is over.
And Derek Martin goes back to his CBA days with Flip Saunders, his coach. That led to Flip signing him to a series of 10-day contracts.
I think Flip was talking to him about a couple defensive coverages, because when Malone got that layup, he sort of pointed and said, that's your rotation. You've got to get in there. So maybe as much defensively as missing the 2 shots.
52-44, Minnesota. And as we mentioned earlier, the T-Wolves staying with Trenton Hassel most of the way on Kobe Bryant and making it difficult for Bryant, who had to give it up. Nice entry pass. O'Neal could not convert. Malone got it down low. Shaq in perfect position. And the foul on Olowokandi, offensive foul. And a technical foul called on Flips Saunders.
Minnesota loves to use these court screens to go away from the pressure, and you can see, it looked like Olowokandi was standing there, and Devin George just run straight into him. I don't know if he said that he moved at the last minute, but Flip very unhappy because they like to use all those back screens to free up their ball handlers so the Lakers can't pressure them.
And you recall back in Game 2 here in Minneapolis, in the fourth quarter, a number of those back screens by both teams led to those testy moments and a total of 7 technical fouls, including the flagrant 2 on Karl Malone.
Well, that's an adjustment that Flip Saunders had made to try and allow his team to get the ball in position to start offense the way they wanted to.
Ayton gets it back to Malone. Malone with a runner. Oh, Malone with a good-looking shot to bring the Lakers within 5.
I don't know if I remember Malone making a shot like that before, to be honest with you.
Hassel gets the pick from Matson, who just came on for Olowokandi. Shot clock down to 4, and the foul on Malone. That's his second.
This is what the Minnesota coaches have been talking about the whole series. When you face up, you can't put your hands on the dribbler, and they've been wanting that to be called the first 4 games. They get it here tonight as Garnett drives to the basket.
13 foul called on the Lakers.
And that's a significant way of interpreting it. If they're going to do it that way, Malone's in trouble because he loves bellying up into Garnett.
Nice fake by Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell. 17 points, 8 of 15 from the field. Minnesota leads by 7.
He and Garnett, 34 of their 54 points. They are carrying them, and that's what they have to do.
Here's Devin George. Not a good shot. Hoiberg. Yes. And Fred Hoiberg, who was so instrumental in Minnesota's success earlier in this postseason, with a breakout game here tonight.
Fisher in the game. I would have to think that Phil Jackson says on this possession, the ball better go inside to Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers, quick shots from outside. They've attempted 13 threes. Their offense has been going through Shaq. They've totally gone away from that.
Bryant. Now double teamed. And fires one up. I believe that was intended for O'Neal. He had nowhere to go off the double.
And you see a little different philosophy here in the third quarter employed by Minnesota, something that Flip Saunders said we know that Kobe likes to get off in the third and fourth quarter, so they trapped him that time, took the ball out of his hands.
17 unanswered points by the T-Wolves have provided Chris Lee. Guy looking for a foul on Malone. Garnett on the follow. Minnesota with its biggest lead of the night. They lead by 11.
You said energy, you said second effort, all the things that Minnesota had to do. It's easy to see. They clearly are out-hustling the Lakers.
O'Neal. So Shaq goes right at Mark Matson.
You know what it appears? It appears the Lakers are thinking, you know, if we hang within 8 or 9, we can turn on the switch and win this game. Right now, Minnesota playing with a lot of confidence. We'll see if the Lakers can come from behind here tonight.
Here is Garnett off the crossover. It counts, and the foul away from the ball. The outside official, Jim Clark, had the perfect sight line. He said, yes, the basket is good, and the foul on Malone.
Well, this is actually Madsen who starts to go down the lane, and he just wipes Karl Malone out as he goes through him. Malone is called for the foul. Watch Madsen go down the lane. Winds up with a wide open look for Kevin Garnett, but Madsen actually wiped out Karl Malone.
How about Garnett's numbers already? 21 points, 14 rebounds. Remember now, oh my goodness, Madsen with the air ball, but in the Game 7 against Sacramento, when they needed it, 32 points, 21 rebounds, 5 blocks. That same kind of effort here tonight in an elimination game.
Mark Madsen only a 48% free throw shooter during the regular season. Minnesota with an 11-point lead, just under 6 remaining in this third quarter. O'Neal with a drop step and fouled by Madsen.
Shaquille O'Neal only 2 free throw attempts this evening up to this point.
Yes, Shaq had been spending much time at the line. It has been downhill since that 9 of 11 in game 1, followed by 6 of 14, 8 of 22. Came back with a 7 of 15, and tonight 2 of 3.
Remember, he's averaging over 15 free throw attempts a night in this series.
Go back to game 2. We take a look at Phil Jackson. Game 2, Shaq had very much a subpar game for him. He blamed it on the rain. Today it's been raining all day, so maybe it's kryptonite to Shaq. I don't know.
Yes, that rain can be very disturbing to your free throw style. Kevin Garnett handling once again. Garnett on the floor with Oliver Candy and Sprewell on the front line. Hassel and Hoiberg are the guards. Foul on Malone. For Karl Malone, that is number 4.
Those are fouls that Karl Malone cannot pick up. They need him on the floor to battle Garnett. He picks up another cheap one. That's 4 for Malone.
And the Lakers in the penalty. Oliver Candy will shoot 2. Only a 59% free throw shooter. Michael Oliver Candy signed as a free agent to replace Rusho Nesterovic as the starting center when Nesterovic signed with San Antonio, but Oliver Candy needed arthroscopic surgery on both knees, and it was an injury hit season. As a result, Irvin Johnson ended up as the starting center. Tonight, Oliver Candy is back in the starting lineup. And the foul is called. Crowd wanted a clean block awarded to Oliver Candy, but he picks up his 4th.
Well, the foul was not called on the block. It was called as Malone came down. That's where the initial contact was, then the block after the fact.
And Phil Jackson has left Karl Malone in the game with the 4 fouls, feeling, we're down 11. No need to take him out right now. Allowed Minnesota to get a little bit of a run and have too much of a cushion to try to make up. I guess he feels also Malone has played in a lot of games. He knows how to play with 4 fouls.
Irvin Johnson about to come on for the first time, replacing Michael Oliver Candy, who had 6 rebounds, just 1 point from the line just a moment ago. Well, tune into NBA TV June the 14th at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to see the emotional story of one of the outstanding players to never make it to the NBA. Hook, the legend of Demetrius Hook Mitchell. Premieres June 14th at 8 o'clock, only on NBA TV. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter, Derek Fisher all over Fred Hoiberg.
Well, now what's going to happen probably is Garnett's going to have to come out and handle the basketball, because they're going to put all kinds of pressure on Hassel and Hoiberg. If they're going to go with this big backcourt, they're going to try to pressure them.
Shot clock down to 7. Sprewell, trap. Garnett wide open. Shaquille O'Neal, only a 6th rebound. A very quiet game to this point for Shaq. Fisher and Payton in the backcourt with Bryant, Malone, O'Neal up front. Johnson doing a nice job fronting O'Neal. Here's Malone. Karl Malone with the touch. Timberwolves now lead by 7. Once again, Fisher putting the pressure on Hoiberg.
One thing that's very noticeable, Phil Jackson has been very selective in the use of his bench here up to this point in the game.
In the last two games, Kobe Bryant has owned the third quarter. He had 18 of his 31 in the third in Game 4 in L.A., but very quiet here thus far.
Well, don't think that Flip Saunders and his staff didn't notice what Bryant had done to them in the second half of the last two games. So they made adjustments. They decided that in the second half, as we see Hoiberg hit the jumper going to his left, they decided that in the second half, if Bryant's involved in pick and rolls, they're going to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible.
Fred Hoiberg now 4 of 6, 9 points off the bench, and the T-Wolves lead by 9. Bryant feeding to Malone to O'Neal, saw the mismatch, and he's fouled by Hoiberg.
One of the things that's so vital in playoffs is when a team makes a little push at you and you have to take a timeout, that you can run something that you know you can get a good shot. Flip came out of that timeout. He ran a play that he used to run for Terrell Brandon, that little squeeze action where Brandon comes off and he gets a shot. That time of Hoiberg with a catch and shoot. Those are the kind of points you need coming out of timeouts in the playoffs.
Shaq now 2 out of 5 at the line. (63-55) Minnesota. Once again, Fisher pressing Hoiberg, trying to protect that dribble.
Doug, the Lakers going with their offense, or their group, I should say, that you like the best. You like this team with Kobe as the small forward.
Garnett is rejected. Crowd wanted a goaltend, but a foul is called. Lakers have been in the penalty for some time, although this was in the act. It is on Bryant for Kobe, his second.
I just love what Derek Fisher brings to the Laker team. He brings such a toughness. He gets up the floor and guards the ball. Gary Payton doesn't guard the ball the way he used to. He used to get up the floor and pressure the basketball. Fisher can do that, and then I like the lineup that it gives him on the perimeter.
It gives a little more scoring as far as reliability of guys who have the ability to make shots for him right now.
Garnett is now 4 for 4 at the line. Trenton Hassel is hearing the cheers from this crowd. He has done an excellent job defensively on Kobe Bryant.
Well, it's going to be important now they keep that defense up. Mike talked about it before. Their goal there is if Kobe tries to start freelancing, run and get the ball out of his hands. Make him pass the ball, not have a big third period as he's had at the Staples Center.
Hassel replaced by Serbiak. 3.5 to play in the third. They double up on O'Neal. Nice jump hook by Shaquille O'Neal. 65-57, Minnesota. T-Wolves have Garnett, Johnson, Serbiak, Sprewell, and Hoiberg on the floor. Here's Sprewell, met by Bryant. Trying to use the pick and roll. Johnson gave it up for Hoiberg.
Johnson had himself an opportunity to just dunk the basketball at the end of that and make it happen himself.
Sprewell defending on Bryant. Gets it down low to Malone, and a foul on Johnson.
Again, you see Minnesota trap Kobe Bryant immediately. Bryant's figured it out now. They're coming after him. So as soon as he saw the double team, he gave it up.
One of the problems when you trap, though, that means you have to rotate off Shaquille O'Neal. Here comes Irvin Johnson over. That leaves Shaquille all alone under the basket. That's the worries that Flip has. If you're going to trap Kobe, that frees up then Shaq underneath the basket.
Malone is 2 for 2 at the line. As you mentioned earlier, Czar, Phil Jackson staying with Karl Malone despite 4 fouls. Not going to take him out, and he really has stayed away from his bench. Aside from Derek Fisher, we're looking at, what, 5 minutes for Fox, 4 for Rush, 1 minute for Medvedenko. That's it.
I think the guy that Minnesota's going to need here is Wally Szczerbiak. He only had 3 points off the bench in the first half. They posted him up against Gary Payton in the Staples Center. Let's see if they maybe try to go in the post. They've got to get him going here. Sprewell and Garnett have 40 points. They need him to score.
Playing Serbiak aggressively. Garnett. Love to put number 5 on Malone. Malone stepped away, and Kevin Garnett has 25 points, along with 14 rebounds, 12 of the 25 here in the third. Got by Hoiberg, getting up on Fisher, who finds O'Neal. He is fouled by Johnson.
Shaq disgusted with himself because he couldn't find the handle of that, or he would have finished it easily. Instead, no basket. Now he's got to go to the line for 2.
And you can see their offense is starting to go through Shaq. He's getting touches most every time down the floor. Irvin Johnson tried to get his arms around him to wrap him up. He was so big, he just slid off of him. He almost scored after the foul.
Shaq now 4 for 7 at the line. He's had an outstanding series, not taking as many shots as usual, having about 11 per game, only 6 of 10 the other night. Tonight, 9 shot attempts.
But the field goal attempts are going to be down, naturally because of the hack-a-shot philosophy that they've employed in a couple of these games. Foul him rather than get the field goal.
And Hoiberg is running to the foul on Fisher. Both teams are in the penalty.
That's why it's important for Minnesota to get to the line. We've talked about it so often in the playoffs. When they get to the free throw line and make 20 or more free throws, they're tough to beat. The important thing, they got there early. It was like the 5:37 mark. Olowokandi went to the line to shoot 2 free throws. So as the Lakers are making a push here, Minnesota getting to the free throw line, and they're a very good free throw shooting team.
And Hoiberg, one of the better free throw shooters, 85% at the line. Latrell Sprewell will get a rest. Replaced by Trenton Hassel, 17 points for Sprewell. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Minnesota back to a 10-point lead. Hassel back on Bryant. Kobe lost it and recovers and scores. Hoiberg thought he had stopped him, so Kobe Bryant with his first field goal in this third quarter.
And his first attempt.
Hoiberg coming off the screen. Fisher being played by Serbiak. Alone. Johnson on the rebound. Final minute of this third quarter.
Karl Malone's man had backed so far off of him so they could play front and behind on Shaquille O'Neal. He had to basically shoot that shot.
Garnett setting the pick. Serbiak. Yes.
Had a smaller player on him. Took his time, didn't get in a hurry. Got it to where he wanted and just jumped over Fisher.
Minnesota by 10. Nice pass. Malone with a bullet handled by Payton. And they turn the shot clock off. 71-63 Minnesota. T-Wolves holding for a final shot of the quarter.
Remember now in game 2, Garnett hit a 3 with .4 on the clock. It was a big impetus of them going into the fourth period.
Serbiak. 4 4/10 seconds remaining in the third. There's Payton. Garnett does not want to foul. Payton. 3 quarters complete at the target center.
He had a 30-second rest in the last game. You said early on he probably will not get that tonight, and thus far, all 36 minutes, they've got to leave him in. He doesn't want to come out.
And he tried to sneak back into the game. Flip Saunders had his head turned, and then he was called back. He wanted to go all 48.
Well, he knows what's at stake. He knows that there's no resting. Come tomorrow, it's either going to be 4 months rest or you're going to go to Los Angeles, so you might as well lay it out there tonight.
Doug, another area, you talked about the effort points, another area that really jumps out at you going into this game. Lakers plus 22 in total rebounds, plus 17 in offensive rebounds. Right now, Minnesota winning the rebound battle in both areas.
And pass. Rush had too much on it, could not be handled as this fourth quarter gets underway. Now Latrell Sprewell makes his return, coming on from Mark Matson, who has been a factor here tonight.
Well, look at the team that Phil Jackson has out on the floor right now. No Shaq, and he finally has gone to his bench, Medvedenko and Kareem Rush. If I'm Minnesota right now, I want to make a serious push to give myself a bigger cushion.
Serbiak with Rush falling down and a foul. Bryant came over to help, and the foul is called. That'll put Serbiak at the line. It's on Rush. That's his second.
You want to hurry up and build up as big a lead as you can before they decide to put Shaq back in, because if you let the Lakers hang around and give them hope, they're obviously good enough to make that run, shut you down at one end, score baskets at the other end. So right now you want to make this an 18-point game if you can.
Serbiak, an 83% free throw shooter.
I felt like that to sell out Serbiak, Garnett, and Sprewell, we're going to have to get 60 or more tonight for them to win. They now have 50. Garnett and Sprewell 42, now 51 with his 9. If they can get 60-plus points, I think they'll find a way to win out of those three guys.
And this represents the biggest lead of the night for Minnesota. Opening minute, fourth quarter, Marv Albert, Doug Collins, the Czar, Mike Fratello, Greg Sager, Cheryl Miller. We're at the Target Center. This is Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Lakers hoping to wrap it up. Minnesota looking to extend to a Game 6. Fisher way off on that rainbow.
Special attention paid to Kobe Bryant. The hard trap by Garnett. Bryant using the extra dribbles up and time on the clock.
Sprewell. Yes. A 14-point Minnesota lead. Medvedenko met by Serbiak. Bryant rebounded by Serbiak. Here come the T-Wolves. Hassel gives it right back. Serbiak for three. What turned this game was that 17-0 run by Minnesota, carried from the second quarter through the early moments of the third. Malone gets inside, and the T-Wolves now lead 77-65.
You know, Marv, Mike made a great point earlier in the game. In the first quarter, the Lakers had a chance to really push the lead to 14 or 15. The last 8 minutes, they went cold. They let Minnesota stay in the game, and then they had that run to give them the lead.
Hoiberg from way downtown.
What happened with that, Doug, not only did they allow Minnesota, but they let the fans get back in the game. The fans were not there early on. That high energy wasn't there from the Minnesota team, but when the Lakers went flat, it allowed everybody to catch back up.
Medvedenko, it counts, and the foul. Slava Medvedenko will go to the line, and here comes Shaquille O'Neal. Karl Malone will sit down.
Medvedenko, who comes in and thinks shot first, this time with the little fadeaway up over the top. A much-needed basket by the Los Angeles Lakers.
We've talked about Minnesota's timely shooting. They were up 14. They had 2 threes, 2 good ones to go up 17. They missed them both. Now Medvedenko finishes the three-point play here. It's a 9-point game. That's a little bit of that timely shooting that Minnesota has not found when they've needed it.
Well, another thing that's hurt LA tonight, their opportunities at the free throw line. The Lakers just 11 for 20 tonight at the foul line.
Sprewell for three. It's been a sensational game for Latrell Sprewell. 10 for 17, 22 points. 13-point advantage for Minnesota. Rush right back from downtown. Kareem Rush hits the three. Garnett Handling against Medvedenko. Serbiak fouled by George. A blocking foul on Devin George. And a timeout has been called. You see 8:51 remaining. Serbiak inbounds to Garnett. Mark Mattson has returned. Garnett. It's a 10-point Minnesota lead, 8.5 remaining in this fourth quarter.
You feel right now the Lakers are going to make a push. This is where Minnesota has to dig in defensively right now.
And then George rejected by Kevin Garnett. Sprewell. Garnett with the rebound. Garnett. And now picked up by O'Neal as Medvedenko and Garnett are involved in a collision. Garnett remains in the backcourt, slow to get up. Looks to be all right. They're playing 5-on-4, and George not able to take advantage. And look who gets the rebound.
Thank you. Laying on the floor, gets up. He is not going to give into this game or fatigue tonight.
I want to know what Devin George was thinking when he shot the ball in Kevin Garnett's face. I mean, did he not expect Garnett to block the shot?
And now Medvedenko's called for the foul, and Kevin Garnett is hearing the cheers from this crowd. It's been another extraordinary performance by the big ticket.
Well, he has epitomized this team in the hustle, and when he leads them, everybody else follows. In the hustle stats, you've seen the plays tonight, and again, we followed the points that we talked about, Mike, before the game. +5, +4, +5. They're winning every one of these categories.
Well, now finally Garnett has relinquished to the head coach. He knows he needs a blow. Flip Saunders kept asking him, do you want to blow? Do you want to blow? Finally that time Garnett looked over, acknowledged to Flip that, yeah, maybe I need to take it right now so I can finish strong.
And if I'm Flip, I'd keep an eye on Garnett. He might end up at the scorer's table in a moment.
You better tie him down over there.
Meanwhile, the Lakers with 4 team fouls. That's a 24-second violation. So Los Angeles in the penalty for the final 7.5 minutes, while Minnesota with only 1 team foul.
Who's going to handle the ball now for Minnesota? Normally Garnett handles it when Derek Martin is out of the game. You have no ball handling. So if you're the Lakers, while he's sitting down, you're going to want to try to get up and really make a push. Force Flip to put him back in the game before he wants to.
I would think it would be a combination of Sprewell and Hoiberg, although they've been putting a lot of pressure on Hoiberg. Here's Rush with the step. Although Candy was able to change that shot. And it is Sprewell handling.
Sometimes it's an inch that makes a difference. That shot rolls in, it's a layup, it's an 8-point game. The Lakers are a little bit more juiced up. Instead the miss, and Minnesota again with the possession.
Sprewell draws the foul. Well, Sam Cassell may not be dressed for action, but he's doing whatever he can. Now there's a team player.
It's like the fights you used to do. The guy be in the corner fanning the guy. Here, come on, you got to get back out there.
Well, before when Devin George spotted up for the 3, it was Cassell that ran along the sideline there waving the towel at him to try and distract him on the shot.
Sprewell now 2 of 3 at the line. He has 23 points. Garnett sitting down with 25 points, 19 rebounds.
Well, Garnett went up to the scores table, and Flip looked up at the clock, and he saw the time, and he said, we're going to be getting a mandatory timeout here, so just stay where you are and get a little more rest. We still have a lead.
Yeah, we've got the mandatory coming at the 6-minute mark, so that's why he sent them back.
Minnesota by 12. Good job by Hassel to take it away from Bryant. Here comes Sprewell. Fouled by Rush. We're seeing the Latrell Sprewell of several years ago, attacking the rim, not only shooting jump shots, And Latrell, as a result, will head back to the line.
Remember I talked about, we see the defensive play here in the run-out. Sprewell in this series had taken 27 three-point attempts and only 14 free throws. Tonight, he has used his three more judiciously, putting the pressure on the defense. Now shooting free throws the rest of the way. You don't want to settle for those long jump shots if you don't have to.
Gary Payton checks back in, replacing Slava Medvedenko. 6:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. For Minnesota, this is game number 99 on the season. They are hoping there will be a number 100 back at Staples in Los Angeles on Monday night. And if there is a game 6, we'll be there right here on TNT starting 9 o'clock Eastern time. Lakers in possession, down by 14. Bryant continues to have difficulty with Hassel. Here's Rush. Rebounded by Olowokandi.
Minnesota's done a wonderful job of running their defense at Kobe. They've given him no opportunities here to get off to one of those jump starts, 16 to 18 point run that he had the other night.
Sprewell. Yes. Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. Minnesota by 16. Only 3 points for Kobe Bryant in the second half. And Kobe with a nice move on Hassel. So Bryant now with 5 of his 19 in the second half. The T-Wolves up by 14 points, just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth. Hassel. Latrell Sprewell has scored the last 11 points for Minnesota, and there's lots of time remaining here. Bryant spinning, and as we know, he can explode at will.
And Flipson is not going to take any chances with him exploding. He's taking the quick timeout, and he will get Garnett back in the game right now.
Shot clock down to 6. Olowokandi. Oh, he blew the stuff.
Got himself too far under the rim, and he couldn't get it. He had to reach back over, and he lost his balance at that point.
Remember that miss. That could weigh large if the Lakers make a run. That would have pushed it to 14.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Bryant for Malone. He's been hitting the jumper. And a battle between O'Neal and Olowokandi, and the foul is on Olowokandi.
You're going to see the quick hook. Madsen's going to come in the game right now for Olowokandi. Flip is not going to take any chances. Olowokandi cannot keep Shaq off the board. He goes up and just a little arm wrestling competition, and Shaq wins that one, wins the battle. Olowokandi sits down.
Well, Shaq has been devastating on the offensive boards for Minnesota. They have to stop the Lakers from getting those second shot opportunities, and it starts with Shaquille.
Second team foul on Minnesota. Bryant facing the double. Here is Malone. 86-76. It's a 10-point Minnesota lead as we approach 4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. 6 unanswered by the Lakers. Garnett. And here comes Fisher. Fisher and Payton in the backcourt. O'Neal, Bryant, Malone up front. Hassel all over Bryant. Bryant to the fadeaway. 86-78 with 3:40 remaining in the fourth.
We got one more basket coming for the Lakers before Flip uses his next timeout. And Minnesota has to play the game to win right now. They've got to try to finish this thing off as Sprewell misses the open jump shot. You can't protect the lead.
And Malone is ahead of the field. It's a 6-point game, and Minnesota takes a timeout.
I'm going to go back to that dunk that Olowokandi missed. That would have made it 14. He misses it. A big run by the Lakers here. Minnesota on their heels. guarding Garnett. That's an interesting matchup.
Here's Madsen. So they missed their last 5 shots. Minnesota now clinging to a 6-point lead, just under 3 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Sprewell defending against Bryant. Bryant with the step. Payton. Fisher, and a 3-second violation is called.
Well, that's not a good possession for the Lakers. They really needed that shot. And I think the reason Shaq may have been on Garnett the last time, Doug, was because I think they felt coming out that they were going to send Garnett into the low post, and they wanted Shaq to guard him down there. Once again, he's on him once again.
Down to 2:40 to play in the fourth. Minnesota up by 6. Playing the clock. Shot clock to 10. Hoiberg is fouled. Yes! And the foul! Fred Hoiberg with the bucket as he was hacked by Bryant.
Hoiberg has played 36 minutes in this game. He's 5 for 10 from the floor. He gets the contact across the head, still looking at the rim when he's hit. He makes the basket. He's still looking at it as he's on the floor. The crowd loves it.
This guy's a former football player. You know he's tough. And he's come up with his best game of the playoffs when Minnesota's needed. This is a guy who got recruited by Nebraska to play football out of high school. You know he's tough.
6'5", 210 pounds in his 9th season out of Iowa State. T-Wolves had been scoreless for 3.5 before that 3-point play by Hoiberg. Bryant forces the 3. Hoiberg on the rebound as we come up on 2 minutes remaining. 9-point Minnesota lead.
The jumper's there for Garnett if he wants it. Shaq cannot play him out there. He uses quickness to go right past him. More importantly, they're shooting free throws here. Has to convert.
Garnett is 5 of 5 at the line. A 79% free throw shooter. And the T-Wolves have hit 7 of 7 here at the free throw line in this fourth quarter.
And the Lakers are going to look back to a 6-point game, their ball possession, and they wind up not getting a shot at the basket because of the 3-second violation. Just when you need execution the most, they did not get it.
And for Minnesota, it's the first time that they have gone to the 90-point plateau in their last 9 games. 91-80. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. T-Wolves looking to extend to a Game 6 back in Los Angeles on Monday night. Here's Bryant for 3. Sprewell is on it. What a job defensively Minnesota has done against Kobe Bryant. In particular in the second half, it's Trenton Hassel with help.
Well, they've swarmed him and they've made him take tough shots. He's not gotten in the lane at all. He's not broken their defense down.
Shot clock down to 5. Garnett, he draws the foul. 2 more free throws for Garnett. Malone picks up number 5.
Kevin Garnett has not had a field goal in this period, but he has gotten to the free throw line. That rest served him well. He's got his legs back once again. He and Sprewell have combined for 55. You throw in Zerbiak 9, that's 64, and Hoiberg 14. That's 78 of the 91 points. Make that 79 of the 92 points by those 4 players. Hoiberg has really picked up the slack from Sam Cassell being out of here tonight.
This will be the 24th free throw attempt for Minnesota. Their high up to this point had been 21 in game number 4. Attacking much more aggressive.
So the T-Wolves have hit all 11 of their free throws in the fourth and lead by 13 points. It's a Laker team that had won 7 of its last 8 coming in after the 2 losses. That will count on the foul. The Lakers had dropped the first 2 of the conference semifinals to San Antonio and then took 4 in a row. They extended to 7 of 8 prior to tonight. Nice move by Derek Fisher. And he'll head to the line. Foul on Hoiberg.
Hoiberg trying to explain to the official, I fouled him way outside while he was dribbling the ball on purpose. Instead, you give him the shot, the field goal, and now at the free throw line to try and make it a three-point play.
Eric 0 for 1 at the line. He's come off the bench to hit 5 of 8, 11 points. 93-83. Luke Walt has checked in for the first time tonight, putting pressure on the inbounds, but Garnett able to handle. And they spread it out in no hurry.
If you're Minnesota, use the clock. Don't turn the ball over where the Lakers can run down and get an easy one. Use all of this clock. Shoot it right at the end.
Garnett. Shot clock down to 2. Sprewell. And last touch, let's see. Last touch by Hassel of Minnesota. So it will be Laker ball with 53 seconds to play.
You know, it's one thing to play with a sense of desperation, but you must execute. And the energy and all, Minnesota, after a slow start, they won all the hustle stats. So as you look back on the game, Mike, they've had great performances by Sprewell and Garnett, but all the energy points have gone to Minnesota tonight. A sense of desperation.
They knew coming in that the only way they had a chance to win was to get the crowd involved, play off this fantastic home crowd that they have. And remember, coming into the game, the Lakers at home 8-0 during the playoffs, 3-4 on the road. So they knew that they could win the game in their building if they could get their energy up.
Foul on Matson. So O'Neal to the line where he is 4 of 8. Very quiet game for Shaquille O'Neal. Just 12 points, 11 rebounds, only 9 shot attempts. So this one is headed back to Los Angeles. Game number 6 at Staples Monday night. That'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on TNT. And if necessary, Game 7 back here at the Target Center on Wednesday. Fisher looking for the 3. Rebounded by O'Neal with 37 seconds remaining. Lakers try to put pressure on. Serbiak gets ahead for Garnett, and he is fouled. Fisher comes up hobbling.
See, this is why it's a little thing like this here at the half-court mark. You want to end the series if you can. Anything can happen injury-wise, number one. Number two, had the Lakers won tonight and closed this out, the finals would not start until next Sunday. They would have had 7 days of rest. Remember, they finished off the Spurs, had 5 days of rest before this series. They played every other day. Now they're going to have to go back and play a Game 6. Big, big game here tonight for Minnesota.
And this will end the Laker run of winning 12 straight closeout games. Prior to tonight, the last time the Lakers were not able to win a closeout, the 2000 NBA Finals, when they lost to the Indiana Pacers in game number 5, but then went on to win Game 6 to take the championship. Here's Bryant kicking it out. Walt for 3. Yes! Luke Walt from downtown. It's a 6-point game. Hassel eludes Walt, and a foul with 15 and 6/10 seconds to go.
You know, as a coach, you're saying, all right, you missed that shot, the game is over. There's still 15 seconds to go. It's a 2-possession game. You know, Mike, we both coach. That clock will never run down when you've got the lead. It seems like it just wants to just hang in the same position.
Hassel, a 79% free throw shooter. His first appearance at the line tonight.
Because sometimes, Doug, in a close game, as it was winding down, I wouldn't look because I'd hope it would skip like 3 seconds. So I would hurry up and get over.
No kidding.
Lakers take a timeout.
The execution of Minnesota tonight, they've had only 6 turnovers all night, 2 in the second half. Really going without a point guard. Derek Martin only played about, what, a minute and a half in the second half?
Here's Fisher putting it up for O'Neal, and he is fouled. That is not a 10 at the line. And the foul is given
than their opponents, and tonight you see why that's so vital for them to get free points at the line.
Well, they've settled basically
1 of 4. See the totals for the game. T-Wolves do not want to foul. Fisher with a two-pointer had a foot on the line. And with 5 3/10 seconds remaining, foul is given again by the Lakers. Fisher was looking for the 3. Foul on Shaquille O'Neal, and that's number 6.
When you're open, you had talked about him averaging only about 2 fouls a game. Tonight, I know a lot of them came late, but they did put pressure on the Lakers at the basket. This was a different Minnesota team.
Well, they had to make Shaq have to make some decisions tonight. He just couldn't lay under the basket, be the rebounding factor that he had been at the offensive end. He was murdering them with offensive rebounds, giving the Lakers second chance opportunities. He was getting to the free throw line over 15 times a game. Now, by making some decisions on his part, should I step up? Do I switch? Those type of things, it's put fouls on him.
Well, Serbiak hit his first 5. Shaquille O'Neal is fouled out, replaced by the rookie Brian Cook. 5 3/10 seconds to go. It's a 5-point margin. And Serbiak misses on both. Here comes Fisher from way downtown. He scores at the buzzer, but it's over. I tell you, this was a remarkable run by the Lakers to pull within 2. The T-Wolves hang on for a 98-96 victory. Lakers now lead 3 games to 2 as we head back to Los Angeles for Game 6